The WHO treaty has been altered because of your resistance. They are still trying to pass the WHO treaty. They are still trying to pass a treaty that will mean that your nation and my nation, and therefore you and me, do not have the ability to oppose the agenda of the World Health Organization. But what is the World Health Organization? Surely it's just an organization that cares about the health of the world. Well, no. It's a UN agency that seems pretty interested in locking people down, getting people vaccinated, and in particular, extraordinarily, censorship. What's that got to do with health? Unless you think these powerful globalist elitist interests are there for your benefit, do you still believe that? Are there any of us that still believe that? Well, what you've believed for some time, what you awoke to years ago is finally reaching the Senate, because 49 senators are set to oppose this treaty, claiming that it undermines American democracy, it undermines the principles of the American Constitution, it would legitimize censorship, it would therefore be at odds with the First, Second Amendment. One of your amendments is under significant threat. Let's have a look at how people are awakening to the threat of the WHO, but the WHO are awakening to the threat of you, because this treaty is designed to prevent what happened last time happening again. What I mean by that is your opposition prevented their plan from working. So this treaty, shouldn't it really just be called the Lock Joe Rogan in a Box treaty? Shouldn't it just be called the Just Take the Medication and Stop Asking for Evidence treaty? Shouldn't it really be called Get Back in Your House and Shut Your Mouth? If we want to lock you down, we'll lock you down. If the Senate, and members of the Senate specifically, have caught up to what we knew then, well, what does that tell us? Because why do you not trust the WHO? Why do you oppose their treaty? Is it because you know they were wrong about COVID and its potentially devastating effects? They were wrong about the efficacy of lockdowns. They didn't think about the detrimental effects that would come as a result of lockdown. And they were wrong about the vaccines. They didn't acknowledge what the hell was going on in Wuhan and the way that that intersects with American financial interests. The WHO treaty is the evolution of the kind of deep state interest that JFK warned us about. They won't come out by day and present you with options. By night and under cover of darkness, they will impose their power through bureaucracy. The WHO might be trying to present itself as a neutral bureaucracy, but what it is in effect is a terrifying wing of technological dictatorship. Let's get into it. So you know Meryl Nash, she came on our show. She's a great lady, actually, and a brilliant physician with fantastic ethics, and I truly respect her. When she came on here, you could tell you were dealing with a person with integrity. She came on with Andrew Bridgen, a British MP. Now, Andrew Bridgen's been booted out of his own party for raising the problem presented by excess deaths, raising the problem presented by vaccine injury statistics and their management, raising many problems that have come out of the pandemic era, the way that it was handled sociologically, politically, but significantly too medically. He came on with Meryl Nash. The episode is up on Rumble and will remain up on Rumble because Rumble is a platform that protects free speech. That's why everyone's calling it a Nazi place, because that's what people do now when they want to shut you up. Let's have a look at the letter that's been written by these senators. The significant parts are obviously what we've highlighted. You can download that asset and look at it yourself. It's flying around on Twitter. Some of over 300 proposals for amendments made by member states would substantially increase the WHO's health emergency powers and constitute intolerable infringements upon US sovereignty. As such, it was essential that the WHO abide by the 4-month notice period to allow member states to ensure that no traces of such proposals were included in a final amendment package for consideration by the World Health Authority. Having failed to do so, amendments are not in order. What's interesting here is that even by their own bureaucratic conditions, they're in trouble, because they're meant to give member nations 4 months to go, hang on a minute, you didn't tell us that you were going to impose these crazy laws. So what the WHO are trying to do is change the language. It still enables them to censor dissenting voices. Malinformation. Remember, malinformation is true information that they happen to not like. I've been got in all sorts of trouble, pursued by Moderna, subversively through agents that they deploy, NGOs. My own government has used these agencies. We are on the precipice of something pretty serious. You know that already. And now the Senate knows. So presumably the Senate are beginning to realise what you have long known. They weren't right about COVID. It wasn't precisely as they described it. They were not right about how effective lockdowns were going to be. They were not right about the efficacy of vaccines. Thank God for our commercial partners. They make our life better, and particularly in the case of True Lean's Everyday Wellness, which is an all-natural 9-in-1 powder that boosts immune health, reduces inflammation, promotes gut health, including vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B12, zinc, turmeric, and echinacea. It's a potion of pure wonder. Everyday wellness, backed by science, inspired by Mother Nature herself. All you got to do is stir these sachets into water and enjoy. Unless you've got one of these glorious big bags. Look, this is like the parent. There it's sort of like cells that are within it. There it's infants, it's tadpoles, as it were. Control your health without prescription. Take that, Big Pharma. I'm feeling better already, and I can just feel Pfizer's stock price plummeting. Spicy citrus tastes like sipping on sunshine. Let me have a sip of that sunshine. The inner light of the Lord is shining from within me. You can visit truelean.com, code BRAND25 for 25% off. Use the code BRAND25, get 25% off. They'll know we work. I tell you what it feels like. It's spicy. It gives you a zing. It's life itself. Now, I'm sorry, my brothers and sisters, my aunts and uncles in Europe, this is only available in the United States of America. If you get some of this, if you don't feel the benefit within 30 days, Truelean will buy it back from you. Even if the bag's empty, you can send them this empty bag. You could even put something in there. I don't know, a stool, a rabbit's paw. They'll give you your money back. That's how confident they are in this product. Try everyday wellness for yourself today. You deserve it. Truelean.com. Use the code BRAND25 for 25% off. Let them know I sent you. It works well for us. God, this stuff's delicious. I can't get enough of it, but then I have an addictive personality. Let's get back to the content. This is seismic because it's entering into the institutions. Now, you know me, I would say that the various parties, or the two parties in the uni-party system, will utilise even anti-establishment rhetoric in order to attack the other party. But hey, my enemy's enemy is my friend. And in this instance, the WHO is my enemy and they're your enemy, and you know that. And these are the kind of anonymous bureaucratic organisations funded by, yes, number one's Germany, the country of Germany. Number two is, though, it's the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. What? An individual? Just a person who's got as much money as countries and as much influence as countries. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? I mean, if you're looking for a candidate for an antichrist today, who are you considering for potential antichrist? The WHO's most recent publicly available draft of its new pandemic response treaty is dead on arrival. Instead of addressing the WHO's well-documented shortcomings, the treaty focuses on mandated resource and technology transfers, shredding intellectual property rights, infringing free speech, and supercharging the WHO. Oh my God, shredding intellectual property rights, infringing free speech, and supercharging the WHO. I know what Alex Jones would say. I know what a lot of you sort of sci-fi people would say. This is like the Star Wars prequels for someone my age, where Emperor Palpatine goes from being a sort of an anodyne bureaucrat.
I love democracy. I love the Republic. The power you give me, I will lay down when this crisis has abated.
To a hooded necromancer.
The Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire.
I mean, is it possible that in 10, 20 years, Bill Gates will have dispatched the formalities and wear a cloak? Well, okay, but he'll still talk like that, though. He's wearing a cloak and everything, but he's like, okay, listen, we're coming into Africa to help you with your farming. We're coming into India to help you patent your seeds. We're coming into your private life to interfere with you. What was the deal with Jeffrey Epstein? Why are you hanging out with him so much? Listen, don't you ask me questions. Like, mind your own business. Jeffrey Epstein was very charismatic, okay? He was easy company. Look at this. The treaty ignores the fact that we are still unsure of COVID-19's origins because Beijing continues to block a legitimate independent investigation. Bit of China bashing there, because it's ultimately a Republican document and they're looking forward to a nice war with China at some point in the future. That will be funded by you, of course, but the significant facts are that they are opposing the treaty, and this is a step in the right direction. You and me, doesn't matter what you're saying in the chat. You could be in that chat being Islamophobic. You could be in that chat being anti-Semitic. You could be in that chat being out and proud or homophobic. You could be black or white. It doesn't matter. You could be trans or cis. You could deny the right for every one of those words to exist. The truly powerful do not care. The deep state powers, the FBI that are tampering with Trump's boxes, grow up. The WHO that are imposing legislation under the auspices of helping you, get your help off of me. NATO that are marching you into war and expecting you to pay for it. They don't care what books you read when you pray. They don't care which way you face when you kneel down and acknowledge the sacred. I might care. I might have my own view of where I'll find divinity. Indeed I do. That's why I got baptized. But they just want you bewildered and engaged in interpersonal chaos and name calling. You're this, you're that. Ah! Dispense with it. Dispatch with it. Awaken now. Recognise that legacy media institutions are corrupt and untrustworthy. Recognise that your state is owned by powerful financial interests. Recognise that these global organisations have to be shut down and no one's going to do it for you. It's going to require your disobedience and your awakening. That's just what I think, though. Let's have a look at a little bit more from this story. We've got the letter from Biden, but this is a piece of British media, just a couple of paragraphs on this that you might be interested in. There is unease among MPs about the World Health Organization's pandemic treaty due to be ratified later this month. MPs are urging the government not to rush into signing the agreement, which they say has serious implications for the UK's sovereignty and ability to decide national policies in a future global health crisis. The WHO has come under fire for its support of China, with Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, the Director General, criticised for praising Beijing during the pandemic, having initially claimed its lockdown strategy bought time for the world. It certainly did buy time for the world. It bought time for tyranny, and it bought time for a foreclosure on your freedoms. And now there is time for us to oppose it, and we have to use that time. You have to sign any and all petitions opposing these measures. It's a ridiculous, laborious process, I'll acknowledge that. But we have to make clear that we do not want our representatives voting for that treaty to be passed. You have to register your dissent. And if there are political figures, whatever party they are from in your country, that oppose this treaty, you should support their opposition, because ultimately these are the kind of bills, the type of legislation that has to be opposed. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments and the chat. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.